Hey, welcome to today's episode of Heroes and Videos. Today we're going to be looking at some comics I picked up this summer at the local comic book shop. Please like the video, would appreciate it. I'm kind of new to the social media, so that would help me. As always, we're going to be talking about comic books, sometimes films about comics, but mostly about comic books. If you stick around to the end of the video, we will find out today how Doctor Doom and the Incredible Hulk first met. I had no idea until I picked up this book, and I found it kind of interesting and curious, and I hope you stick around to find out. Without any further ado, let's get right to it. First up is Superboy 178. I love Man-Bat, I love Superboy, love Neil Adams. So what's not to love about this, right? Superboy as Man-Bat. The inside story's not quite what you see here, but that's often the case back with these old Silver Age books. It's also got a couple of stories in it, an old Legion book with Timberwolf as Lone Wolf. Timberwolf is one of my favorite Legion characters, but he's not really the same character in this. This is more like his origin. But again, some of the stories can be a little convoluted, but that's kind of how they were at the time, and they make for a very fun read. Speaking of fun reads, Superboy, number 182, on the heels of that one, Superboy and Batman before he became Batman. If you look close, you'll see there's no bat symbol on Bruce's costume there. This is a story of the teens meeting before they were heroes, before they were world's finest. Superboy comes out looking pretty good in this storyline. Bruce, not so much. Don't want to say much else about it to spoil it, but yeah, Bruce is kind of a weenie in that one. he's not really the hero, or he's somewhat driven, but he's not necessarily the hero we've come to know and love. After that, we've got World's Finest, number 205. This is when World's Finest was Superman and not Batman. In this case, Superman and Teen Titans. You'll notice if you look down the sideline there, it's a Robinless Teen Titans. Dick Grayson, the Boy Wonder, is not part of the group in this issue. We've got Kid Flash, Mal, Speedy, Wonder Girl, and Lilith. And we've also got Superman in the background there fighting what looks like Fin Fang Foom. So I don't know if Fin Fang Foom, say that 3 times fast, is crossing over to the DC Universe or not. It is an interesting book in that they're trying to be socially relevant, but they're kind of missing the mark. But I guess they were trying, so we'll give them credit for that. It's a late 60s, early 70s book. Speaking of socially relevant, a lot of folks talk about comic books not being about social justice, or shouldn't be. I disagree with those folks. Comic books have always been about social justice. Superman started out fighting for the little guy in Action Comics, and superheroes have always taken the side of the underdog, right? And taken up causes. And that was no different in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right up through today. Another example of that is this Teen Titans cover. This is Teen Titans 31. I believe it's a Nick Cardy cover. He does some amazing covers in this run. Just picking these books up for the cover is worth it, if nothing else. You'll see here the protesters in the background getting a little rowdy, and our Titans, our heroes, are unable to fight back. Just amazing book. This book's just incredible, between the teens up to the teens in the numbering, not the teens in the book, but they're cool too. All the way up through the 30s. This is just a great title, a great run. They're not super expensive if you want to pick them up at your local comic book shop. Then we've got Uncanny X-Men 137. Everybody should recognize this cover. Like you, I am dying to know who won that $2,500 Toys R Us shopping spree. I think it was Toys R Us. It's not great advertising because it doesn't say Toys R Us anywhere in the ad there on the cover. This is, of course, the Death of Phoenix. I've got a newsstand copy of this, but I went ahead and picked up a direct as well. It's one of those books that you just want to show people that aren't into comics. Like, if somebody says, "Hey, what's a great comic?" You just kind of want to give them the whole Claremont Cockrum Byrne run. I mean, I know it's a lot of reading, but it's just an incredible run of books, and this is no exception. That book is so good. This run is so good that retroactively renamed the title. The book was just called X-Men back in the 60s, and all the way through issue, I think, 111 or 112, around the time that the book went monthly, after the new X-Men had started up, or had rekindled interest in the book. And but it wasn't called Uncanny X-Men until then. Now, anywhere you look it up, CLZ, wherever, it's called Uncanny X-Men. I mean, the book was so good, the run was so good, they literally retroactively renamed the title back all the way to 1 as Uncanny X-Men #1. So next up, we've got some Thors. Going to be doing a feature, I think, on some Thursdays coming up called Mighty Thor Thursday. If you can think of a better name than that, by all means, please let me know in the comments. Where we'll be talking about, I'll be going through some old Thors that I have, and old and new, and having some discussion about that, and of course the movies as well. First up is Thor 237. This is, I believe, a John Romita Sr. cover. Looking at that Thor face, can't swear to it. John Buscema did the interiors. It's Ulick pushing him into this bus. I just love the force you can feel there, the power. A lot of comics, a lot of artists don't necessarily show that. They'll show worlds being destroyed or whatnot, but just the crumpling of that bus and the power as Thor's being pushed back into it is just something I feel like is missing from a lot of comics. And just kind of a masterclass there, John Buscema and John Romita on that book. Next up is Thor 265. This is Walt Simonson, and I don't see his famous Brontosaurus signature, but looking at that destroyer, it looks a lot like some of the interior art on the book. This is about 60 or 70 issues before Simonson's more famous run on Thor. I think Roy Thomas was writing the book at this point, and Simonson was doing the art for a while. Inside, it looks more like Kirby or John Buscema or Keith Pollard, who'd be doing it not long after this, but it doesn't look like the old standard Simonson stuff that you'll be seeing here in a minute. So that's Thor 265. Next up, Thor 297. These are filling some holes for me in some Thor runs that I have. This is part of that Celestial saga where Mark Gruenwald, the writer, was bringing Jack Kirby's Celestials and Eternals into the Marvel Universe. When Kirby created those, I don't think when he created those characters upon coming back to Marvel after leaving for DC, it was supposed to take place, I think, in a separate universe. It wasn't necessarily in the Marvel Universe. Grunwald here, in a year-long storyline, I think that ran from about 288 to 300, brought the Celestials into the Marvel Universe with Thor and a lot of the Elder Gods battling the Celestials. So and it's a really good storyline. It's long, and it can be a bit of a slog, but it was kind of it was a great little Reader's Digest for me of the Celestials, because I didn't really read Eternals as a kid, and so that storyline's really where I got introduced to them. Next up, I'd mentioned Simonson's more famous run earlier. This is Mighty Thor 338, the second issue of that run. Just love that cover. It's obviously a homage to Thor 126, I believe, the Kirby cover, with Thor and Hercules facing off very much like this. That power involved there. Just a great look. I don't remember if it's Thor 126 or Journey into Mystery 126. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly when the title changed names. I was not really reading comics at that point. I know I looked like I was picking up Action Comics #1 off the stands, but no, that was a little before my time. The other Simonson issue I picked up was Thor 340. Another just phenomenal cover, just so much going on there. I have one of these already signed by Walt at Baltimore a couple of years ago. I'm sort of on the fence with signed books at this point. I used to love them. I still do love getting books signed by creators. Often get them signed to me or my kids when they're with me at them. And it's to keep. Don't plan on doing anything with them other than cherishing the fact I got to meet the creator and maybe they told me a story about the book, or I told them a story about what the book meant to me. I'm at the point now where I'm starting to collect books I've got signed, but collecting them unsigned again, if that made any sense. And this is one of those, Thor 340. And then we've got one more in the Thor run here. Frenetic Ron Friends, his run with Tom DeFalco writing the book. That's Thor 383, An Untold Tale of Battleworld. This took place a few years after Secret Wars. You'll notice they have the little logo up in the upper corner. It was a few years after, and it was kind of like an untold tale of Secret Wars, something that maybe happened between issues or between panels. Marvel's begun doing much more of this lately, but this was kind of a novelty then. And again, just I love that Ron Frenz run on this book, and so I wanted to pick that up because it filled a little gap. Mentioned earlier about the first meeting with the Incredible Hulk and Dr. Doom. Well, it occurred right here in the pages of Incredible Hulk 143. Incredible Hulk 143 with Dr. Doom meeting the Hulk. It's a rare issue that's not by Herb Trimpe here in the 100s. And I'm drawing a blank on who did the art. The same person did the cover, but it wasn't Herb Trimpe, who was a phenomenal talent on the Incredible Hulk. Dr. Doom and the Hulk apparently met, and again, I would say spoilers, but if you stuck around this long, I'm sure you want to find out. Bruce Banner's doing one of his things where he's hiding in the city, in the trench coat, running from either the police or the army or whomever, and a limousine pulls up with a driver, and the voice in the back says, if you want to, not if you want to live, come with me, but basically, if you want to get away, come with me. And Banner gets in, and lo and behold, in a limousine with untinted windows in New York City, it's Victor Von Doom. Dr. Doom is in the back of the limousine and takes Banner back to the Latvian embassy. Always thought it was curious that we had diplomatic relations with Latveria, but anyway, that's how they meet. If you had asked me where did Dr. Doom and the Incredible Hulk first meet, or at least Doom and Banner, back of a limousine would not have been on my superhero bingo card. So a neat book. The other thing I thought interesting was this book takes place in 1971, or the book came out in 1971. These characters had both been out for 6 or 7 years at that point. Marvel was so crossover crazy early, and still, but was so crossover crazy early on. I found it interesting it took these characters till 1971 to meet. The Hulk, what appeared in 61, 62, I guess, Fantastic Four in 61, the Fantastic Four 5, I think the book was bi-monthly back then, so Dr. Doom would have appeared in late 61, if not 62. These characters had been around 8 or 9 years at this point and had never met. The Hulk met Fantastic Four in issue 12 of their title, Dr. Doom, as I mentioned, in number 5. But these two never crossed paths until 1971. I found that interesting because they're both fairly powerful characters and fairly famous, popular characters in the Marvel Universe, even back in the 60s. So I just found that curious. It took them that long to meet. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Would also love to hear about any books that you have picked up this summer at your local comic shop. Do you just go to your local comic shop? Do you go check out shops in other cities or whatnot? I love to do that when I'm traveling. We'll talk more about that in an upcoming video. Again, would love for you to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, to get comments. Can't wait to see you in the next episode. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Keep reading comics, keep going to see movies, and be kind to each other.